Miami.
I can't believe he's getting that much.
This is ridiculous. Okay, $10 million. I don't think the Cowboys' 3 quarterbacks combined make $10 million this year.
I'm pretty sure they could have thrown half that at him and he would have taken it. No one was calling him. Why are you offering him $10 million?
It's the same reason the Eagles traded what they did for Bradford. Or not Eagles, the Vikings. Traded what they did for Bradford.
Desperation?
Yeah. They're like, okay, it's going to be Matt Moore or Jay Cutler's available.
Yeah.
They might have tried to contact Tony Romo.
Let's pay $10 million for the same production that we get from Matt Moore. What's the point here?
Well, the point is Adam Gase has had success with Jay Cutler in the past. Jay Cutler has more experience.
Yeah, all the reports
success
coming,
is a pretty broad
from
term
the
with
first,
Jay Cutler.
First
don't worry,
and practices are
I got all his
awesome.
Jay
stats.
Cutler has a losing record.
I have his career stats.
Cutler apparently looks great in the Dolphins practice, and guess what that's going to mean for the season?
He always looks
nothing.
great in practice.
It's going to mean nothing. He's going to be terrible. He's going to get destroyed on the field.
Cutler, you can count on for a couple things. One, there's going to be some bogus injury that he can't play with. And two, he's going to be sulking around the sidelines for the rest of the year.
See,
that's what you're paying him $10 million
I was happy because
for.
when I found out, I got that notification on my phone. We were playing
You're
golf.
like, that's a
Sunday.
win.
No, we were playing golf on Sunday, and I was about to tee off. And I saw that, and I kind of got slightly angry, and then had a beautiful tee shot, par 3 on the green, and I knew that he was going to be terrible because of that.
Why would you get angry? It's your division rival. I'm happy that the Dolphins got him.
The Jets still aren't going to beat them.
My first comment was great.
With Cutler at the helm, we might.
I just don't like.
You wish Cutler was your quarterback.
Give me some nice interceptions for Jamal there. No, I don't wish Cutler was.
Whoa! You wouldn't take Jay Cutler over McCown, Hackenberg, and Petty?
No, because I don't want another Ryan Fitzpatrick where we go for between 5 and 8 wins and just stew with mediocrity.
What's the difference? What's the difference? Jay Cutler
$10 million.
Bad. Yeah. I'm not going to say, obviously, the difference is wasting money, but, I mean, Cutler.
Personally, I would have been fine.
Cutler's bad.
Personally, I would have just rocked with Matt Moore as the starter, TJ Yates, call Chad Henne, your third string.
What happened on the battery charges with Landry today?
Oh, I don't know. I had to work all day today.
That's one less weapon.
I didn't see any notifications on that.
Yeah, I didn't get anything about that. But the Jay Cutler isn't even really the topic. The reason I brought up Jay Cutler is because a lot of people are pissed off that Jay Cutler was signed for $10 million out of retirement, and yet Colin Kaepernick is still unsigned.
Okay, be mad.
Well,
that's my argument. I mean, be mad.
What's Kaepernick asking for? Does anyone know? I don't.
I've heard different reports. He wants $10+ million. He'll take a backup role. He turned down.
I've heard he won't take backup role.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I read a report today that was totally bogus because A, it didn't have any sources. B, it didn't list.
News.
Yeah, and it didn't list any teams that said, "Oh, he turned down a 7-year vet minimum to play for a team." No, it wasn't. It was similar. I was reading through. I
wouldn't take a 7-year vet minimum either. He can make more in endorsements, even with everything surrounding him. There's people that will endorse him because of the political issues.
Spike Lee's endorsing him right now or today.
So we're just going to recap, just in case anyone has no idea what we're talking about. Last season,
living under a rock.
Last season, the big story coming out of the NFL was not CTE, was not Deflategate. It was Colin Kaepernick not standing for the national anthem and taking a stand, ironic, right? For what he believes in. And that has, like I said, pissed off a lot of people. So, one word to answer. Do you think that's the reason he hasn't been signed yet?
I think it's a lot to do with it, yeah.
Yes.
Partially.
Yeah.
They were saying, in one article, too, that the owners are trying to, kind of make a statement.
I think it does. I think if you divide the league in half...
I think it's mixed. I think some owners are, screw you. Mm-hmm. And I disagree with your political stance. I think other owners are just like,
we're going to lose too much money.
Let's not forget that this quarterback took a team to the Super Bowl.
No, he did not. Patrick Willis took that team to the Super Bowl.
That was all the defense.
He still is a Super Bowl quarterback.
I think
so is Trent Dilfer.
Yeah.
Trent
And
Dilfer's Super Bowl
has one more
quarterback.
ring.
So was Kerry Collins.
If we were.
But if he didn't have these political
No one was
issues,
praising him as
Yes,
Joe-
they did. After
Then why are his stats so bad?
I have those too.
Directly after the Super Bowl.
Okay, but why are his stats so bad after that then? If he was the next Joe Montana.
Just Jim Harbaugh left.
well, the 49ers fell
That's-
apart. You can't put that all on.
So you're
on
saying
Kaepernick.
he was that good
But you
because of
can't
the
put-
coach he was with?
Yes.
Okay,
That's-
so that it's not his talent.
Here's the thing. I'm glad you brought up Harbaugh because the reason he was so good, the reason the 49ers did so well, because they were playing well with Alex Smith before Alex Smith got hurt.
True.
You can't get to the Super Bowl with 7 wins. It doesn't work that way, which is what I believe Colin Kaepernick got them.
1 year.
Well, no, he got to the playoffs, not the Super
I was
Bowl.
going to say, haven't teams
Jim-
from the NFC South gotten them?
No, NFC West. It was the Seahawks
only the
who beat the
Seahawks
Rams
got-
to get 7-9 to beat the
They beat
the Saints.
Yeah.
But anyways, so Harbaugh the reason he hasn't won anything, but why is he still considered one of the best coaches in football? Here is why. Because he puts his heart and soul into the players. He believes that he's going to get them to succeed, and he sets them up to succeed. How? He makes his offenses, and this is going to be like a weird word for it, androgynous. Because he can literally put anyone in next man up and they're going to do well. Because how do you words are escaping, or words are failing me. How do you go from pocket passer Alex Smith doing well to run first Colin Kaepernick still doing well? Because you make your team adaptable.
Well, it's also because someone like Harbaugh can focus on exploiting what you're good at and focusing on making that present.
Because he
Adaptable.
The one thing
But
that
only so many coaches can do that.
the one thing that he did really well when he had Alex Smith, they played tight end a lot. When they were with Colin Kaepernick, tight end dropped back to a fullback position.
Yes.
He made that offense adaptable, so that in case that situation happened, he put Colin Kaepernick and
But they
Alex
also
Smith.
did have a very good personnel that was able to adapt.
Right,
Because
they
after
did.
after he left, they had all these retirements, and the 49ers fell apart. I personally
their
would
defense
blame mostly ownership for a lot of those issues, because that's where I think the clashes were.
the
Let a
honest-
coach like Harbaugh go.
Honestly, think about it. The argument that I'm making, even with Alex Smith, he goes to Kansas City, he throws no touchdowns to a receiver all season. He's not a good quarterback.
He wasn't throwing touchdowns though.
He threw touchdowns to
they
Travis
were-
Kelce
yeah,
and the running
tight
backs.
ends.
Yeah.
Tight end running backs.
And
Jamal Charles is a good receiver.
Smith is still, he's kind of what he always was. He was never great.
He knows he's done now. His job right now is to get Pat Mahomes ready to play.
Probably. They're probably
Yeah.
going to try for one Super Bowl run with him, and if Mahomes is surpassing
they'll put
him,
him
exactly. But
Andy Reid's also another one of those good coaches that can make the system work even if you have weaknesses. But
Right, especially-
my
yeah.
argument with Kaepernick was the fact that I can't grasp myself around the fact that it is solely the sole reason that he's not getting hired is because of him taking the knee. I believe that it is an effect with certain teams, and it is a unbuy. But there is a lot of interest from teams, and he has talked to a number of teams for him not to have been signed, even as a backup. Makes me think that there's some reason
that's why it's not the sole
of what he wants that he's not getting, that they're not agreeing to
I
his
don't
contract.
say it's the
Or
sole
he doesn't
reason.
fit.
But do you think he would have this much trouble without that?
Here's the
no, God no.
That's why it's a definite guarantee that is affecting it, period.
my thinking for one of the reasons is you look at the NFL owners, the owners of the teams, except for Jerry Jones, the Maras, the /Tishes, and the Rooneys. What do they all have in common? They're just there to make money. The Rooneys, the Maras and Tishes, and Jerry Jones are all football guys. So they care more about their football team doing well. And Robert Kraft, too.
Yes, he
And Robert
definitely
Kraft,
changed
too.
The stigma.
But the rest of them, Bud Adams died. He was a football guy.
Al Davis.
Al Davis was a football guy. Steven Davis is trying to be a football guy.
he's getting there.
Those teams that I mentioned, the Patriots, Giants, Cowboys, Steelers, does he take over the starting quarterback for any of those teams? Absolutely not.
Green Bay, you can even throw in there.
Well, Green Bay doesn't even have an owner, yeah.
Right, but
Right.
but that's
They
because
have a lot of owners.
Those teams all have,
that's
good
true.
to great quarterbacks, though, to be fair.
That's what I'm saying.
And I don't think anyone is saying that Kaepernick is a great quarterback.
No,
he's a passable one.
Well, no, that's not the argument that I'm making. I guess I didn't articulate
you have
it
to be
well.
able to at least consider him in the argument. Based on what's available to you at the Jets, he's one of the best 32 in the league.
From what
He
I
should be.
remember,
Or to be able to get
of
the
that
job.
season going into the Super Bowl, if he could get even 50% of what he was doing then, he was great on his feet. He had, if you were playing him in fantasy, he had mad numbers. He was
Right.
still throwing. He was winging the ball.
In all
flashes
fairness,
of brilliance,
in
but-
all fairness, that's something that you see a lot from these dynamic athletes who do their first year in the league. Robert Griffin III was the same thing.
It's a new thing. It's a surprise to everyone. And then
Well,
I get
RG3
it.
without that knee injury probably would have been.
I don't
would have
think
been pretty
so.
great.
And I've always said
Teams
this.
would have started to figure him out
Well, you
and
can say
stop it, but that's
the same thing about Russell Wilson, but he's still around
But-
and doing very well.
Yeah, if you're,
And I
He's
think
a better
RG3
passer.
If we
I
were
think
going back-
RG3 would have been the better passer without that knee just being destroyed by bad coaching.
And I think that held back his development. But when we're talking like you were talking about just now, where you have these flashes because they're new and they're surprised to the defense and whatnot, and then they kind of fade off. It's those players like Winston. It's like those players like Cam Newton that can adapt and then take it to the next level. It's these ones that are plateauing that are having a problem. But I don't think Colin Kaepernick is plateaued. I still think he has.
I think he
also
has.
understand.
No.
Colin Kaepernick had a game where he went 4 for 7 and had 12 yards in 4 interceptions.
That
was
That
last
was a
season.
stat line.
That was last season.
I don't give a
Was that
shit.
last season? I'm
When
asking
did
you a
it-
question. I'm asking you a
That's
question.
pitiful. That's something you see.
Wait, how do you go
Let me
4
ask
for
you a
7 and
question.
have 4 interceptions? Something's not right.
Let
there.
me ask you a question.
That's got to be at
Last
least
season.
8 attempts if you've got 4 completions
I-
and 4
yeah.
interceptions.
Are you going to answer me?
What's your question?
Was it last season?
I don't think it was.
No,
I think it was
wasn't.
3 seasons ago.
Because he
He had
didn't really
16
get any
touchdowns
time to
last
start
season.
last
That was
year.
my question. That's why I'm curious.
So going back to what I was saying, the argument that I was making is these owners see, here's a controversial figure, my fan base is going to freak out if I sign him, and I'm going to lose money. Whereas guys like Jerry Jones, the Maras and the Tishes and the Rooneys are like, we got plenty of money, we're going to get football guys. I mean, like, Jerry Jones has done it. He took T.O.
Right.
What's his name? Kraft took Randy Moss. He took Michael Floyd. So the football guys are the ones that are going to say, he is the best football decision. I'm going to take him.
Let's take
Just seems like none of them have a need there.
Right.
So-
The football guys, they surround themselves with,
Yeah.
good to great football players.
But if I was a
That's-
smaller market owner, then I might take the chance,
Yeah,
depending on
let's
on
get
the
into
climate.
that.
What would
Let's get
Buffalo
into
have?
that.
Actually, furthermore, Kaepernick had a 1 point last year when he did get benched, where he had a net passing yardage of
4
negative
yards.
21.
Yeah.
How are you passing backwards?
Fumbles counting that.
But yeah.
Oh, man,
Sacks
that's bad.
sacks counting that
Yeah,
sometimes.
he ran out of the pocket and got sacked from way behind the line.
It's
So
one
we're
for
gonna-
10, right?
Goodness,
Yeah.
that's not good.
We're going to talk about places where Colin Kaepernick would fit in. I did an entire blog post about this.
Buffalo.
Hold on. I came up with 5 plus a bonus for teams that Colin Kaepernick could go to. So the first place we're going to start, Jacksonville. Are you telling me Colin Kaepernick couldn't step into Jacksonville and beat out Blake Bortles by week 8?
Oh, he could.
He
I think
could.
you could.
Absolutely.
I'm
Especially with the Allens.
Yeah. I don't think Colin Kaepernick is that good. I think the Jaguars are so close to being very good
And he's
that
been on
Colin
a good team, and he can kind of,
that
Bridge
Colin
together.
that Colin Kaepernick gets them to the playoffs.
Yeah, maybe.
possibly.
If nothing else, Colin Kaepernick can be a decent game manager. You're going to have these really bad games where you get Kaepernick, but he's still going to be able to be a game manager. Like I said, there's no way, in my opinion, that Colin Kaepernick doesn't deserve a starting role somewhere in this league. There's too much talent in him not to.
The next team that I have is a team that's already built for a running quarterback. The Minnesota Vikings. Their offense is already ready because they're still staying with the Teddy Bridgewater could be the guy. And Teddy Bridgewater is a dual threat quarterback. He can beat you by running. He can beat you by throwing, which